In a world that's just overflowing with information, have you ever wished you had, I don't know, a toolkit to find the real answers? Well, today we're going to build one. This explainer is all about turning you into a critical thinker, a true knowledge detective, so you can start finding those answers for yourself.
So, every good detective story needs a case, right? Ours is a classic. Does listening to music actually help you study? I mean, some people absolutely swear by it, while others need total silence to get anything done. So let's make this our official case file.
And the thing is, this question is just one of thousands we face every single day. From health tips you see online to big news headlines, we are constantly bombarded with claims. The real skill isn't just knowing facts, it's knowing how to find them and test them. It's all about sorting fact from fiction.
So, where does any good investigation begin? Well, you've got to clearly define the mystery. And that brings us to our very first step, finding the case.
Okay, so at the center of every single investigation is what we call a research question. Think of it like the big mystery written on the whiteboard in a detective's office. It's a specific, really focused question that guides every single thing you do next. It is the heart of your case. And the key here, the absolute key, is being specific. Vague questions, they just lead to vague, kinda useless answers. A detective can't just ask, who did it? No way. They need specifics. Who, where, when, with what. And the exact same principle applies here. To get a clear result, we have to narrow our focus way down.
Let's apply this to our case. The original question, does music help studying? It's just too broad. What kind of music are we talking about? What kind of studying? Who are the students? A knowledge detective refines this into something much more specific. Something like, does listening to classical music improve memory recall for college students? See the difference there? By locking in those details, we create a case we can actually solve.
So with our question defined, we can't just start looking for clues randomly. A good detective needs a strategy. They need a map for the investigation. And that's our second step, drawing the map. Now, every investigation can follow two main paths. The first is qualitative, which is really all about the why. Think of interviews and observations that help us understand stories and motivations. The second path is quantitative, the how many. This involves measuring things with numbers, running experiments, and using statistics to find patterns. Sometimes detectives even use both, a little mixed methods approach, to get the whole picture. For our music question, the quantitative path, the numbers, that makes the most sense. So here's our master plan. First, we form a hypothesis, which is just our educated guess. Let's guess that yes, classical music does improve memory. Then we design the experiment. We set the rules of the test. Next, we select a sample, our group of college students. And finally, we collect the data. It's time to gather the clues.
This brings us right to the action. With our plan set and the case clear, it's time for the fieldwork. It's time for step 3, gathering the clues.
Now, in the world of research, our clues are called data. And that's all data is, really, the individual pieces of information and evidence you gather. It could be survey answers, measurements, or, in our case, test scores. So we run our experiment. We have some students study with music, some in silence, and then we give them all a memory test. This is what the raw evidence looks like, just a table of numbers. And it's a bit messy, isn't it? Just looking at this list, it's really hard to see a clear pattern. It's just a jumble of clues. But then we organize and analyze those clues. By taking the average score for each group and putting it into a simple bar chart, suddenly the pattern becomes crystal clear. It's amazing how a simple visual can just cut right through the noise, isn't it? Our brains are wired to process images like this almost instantly. And what we see is that the group that listened to classical music scored significantly higher on average. That is our aha moment. Okay, we have our question, our plan, and our evidence. That means it's time for the most satisfying part of any investigation, the big reveal. Welcome to our final step, cracking the case. This lets us make a clear, evidence-based statement. We can translate our chart into a really powerful conclusion. In our fictional study, students who listened to classical music recalled 15% more information. Case closed. Or is it? There's one more thing. A great detective, a great researcher isn't just focused on getting the answer. They're focused on getting it the right way. How you conduct your investigation is just as important as what you find. You have to play by the rules. And just like any good professional, a knowledge detective lives by a code. It's not just about finding answers, it's about how you find them. First up, informed consent. Everyone involved knows exactly what they're signing up for. Then, confidentiality. You protect your sources. Crucially, do no harm. The investigation can't hurt anyone. And finally, honesty. You report the findings just as they are, no matter what they say.
So there you have it. We've walked through how to frame a question, draw a map, gather clues, and crack a case, all ethically. You now have the fundamental toolkit of a knowledge detective. The only question left is, what mystery will you solve first?